the city, tabarnak. You're the temp for now, but I'm coming for you.
I don't know what the hell you said, but you ain't taking my belt, and the Bruins are the best team around, so get that shit out of here.
I said, come fucking get me. Somebody stepped up and said, yes, I want that smoke, and his name is Joshua Marsh. We'll be putting this belt on the line, and as soon as I'm done with him, I'm going to take whoever's next. Let's go!
2, 1, go. All right. There we go.
That's it.
That's it. We're live.
Fight week. Cheers, everybody.
Cheers. Woo!
We're going to go through this quick.
We said 8 o'clock. You know, Cage Titans time. 8 means 8:30. But either way.
Especially on fight week. He hasn't even kicked in with the monster drinking yet. So we're running a little behind, but it is what it is. It's Monday. A few short days till wait. Big news here because we've got to really pump up our broadcast partners in Spectation Sports as of today because you called me with some interesting
good news,
information this morning.
As of right now, it looks like all online sales are sold out. And so the only way to get tickets is if you know one of the fighters who might still happen to have a few tickets lying around. We already sold out of upper balconies, front rows, all the floor. There's a few mezzanines kind of around there. The VIP booths are sold out. Like, this card is really delivered. It just shows the strength of this card. We've been talking about it leading up to this, is that it's just from top to bottom. Like, you know, you have such a huge fight at the top in Dufort versus Giannetti, title fight. Then you have Ross Hilton in the title fight against Marsh. And it's like, all right, cool. It's top heavy. No, this card is all the way heavy. Thicker than a Snicker, as they would say.
Thick as a Snicker, indeed. The amateur experience that we have on here, you've always talked about the development of the amateur program, getting the next wave of talent ready at the amateur title level to get them ready to the professional prospect level to the contender level. And you're seeing that come to fruition in real time here with kids that are making their amateur debuts to guys that are right on the cusp of fighting for amateur titles. Some amateurs with 5-6 fights worth of experience to people making their professional debuts, leaving the amateur ranks, all the way up until the 2 title fights that we have on top. And especially with this lightweight title fight between Michael Dufort and Joe Giannetti, it's got some serious implications to someone getting the big ticket to the big show.
Yeah, man, I talk about this quite often. Is, you know, people ask what's the secret sauce, Cage Titans. There's a few secrets that we put into the sauce. But the main one for me is always, you hear me use this phrase all the time, backfill the lot. Like, you have to backfill the talent because Giannetti versus Dufort, huge fight. Whoever wins this fight is going to probably go to the UFC. But who's behind them? Who's the next Dufort and Giannetti? Well, could it be, you know, who's it going to be? Who's going to be that next guy to step in the headlight? And then once you take those pros that are just starting their career and they're going to be the next Giannetti, Dufort type guys, there's a pro debut on this card that hopefully will be that next middle of the road pro. And there's a guy fighting for an amateur title who's going to be that next pro debut on the next card. And there's a guy that's fighting in his debut who one day will be making his amateur title fight. And there's just like, it's always backfilling. And this card really has it all. We got debut and amateurs, like you said. We have guys who are on the cusp of amateur title fights and could possibly go in pro in another fight or two. We got a debut in pro. We got guys that could be fighting for titles in the future in the pro ranks. We got pro title fights. We got guys who are UFC ready right now. Like, it's just backfilling the lot. I say it so many times. You got to keep replenishing your talent, and you can't just rest on the stars you have. You got to be making new ones as you come out every single time.
There you go. The secret sauce has been spilled. And with that, we got 17 fights.
Ben Lindsay. Michael cracking those pads at the open workout. Hopefully everyone stays in line this week.
Yeah. You got they got to stay in line for all about 50 seconds before they can go back to doing whatever. But that was fun.
Listen,
workouts.
Perfect segue, Ben. I appreciate you the segue. Honestly, we had an amazing time at open workouts. So we haven't done open workouts since the days of the Kingston Collection Mall. We used to set up the cage in center court. Kind of got away from it. But when I heard the news of like the weather was going to just be dog shit, we're supposed to get this hurricane that was a mythical beast of a hurricane. And then I saw Sunday was supposed to be
didn't exist.
80 degrees. I said, you know what? Let's try something new. And I always say, we're trying every time we do a Cage Titan show, we're going to try to do something we haven't done before or we haven't done in a while. Open workouts were a blast. Connor Matthews came there getting ready for his Dana White contender fight. Miguel Silvestre, who's making his pro debut. Joe Poirier was there. Jaden Curley, who's a rising amateur. Joe Giannetti, obviously, in the main event. So, yeah, we had a great time at open workouts. And I know all of you Cage Titans fans are super homers and you only love the hometown guys. But I am excited to let you know that on Wednesday night, Dufort is flying in from Canada, and we're going to take him to a hot spot somewhere inside of Plymouth, and we're going to do similar situation. We're going to do an open workout with Dufort, and then on Thursday, when Ross and Marsh get to town, we're going to take them separately to do different locations and do some sort of open workout, in addition to the press conference that has always been fun.
Yeah, it's fight week festivities through and through with all the traveling competitors that are coming this way. We had the open workout with all the hometown guys, so you're going to have your chance to see some work getting done with some of the traveling folks that are coming in Wednesday, Thursday night. Presser at Proof 22 down the road from Plymouth Memorial Hall.
Yep.
Happening Thursday afternoon. That's been producing some interesting moments over the past few years and culminating to the weigh-ins on Friday. We got a week.
You better freshen up on your French with the Dufort being there.
Yeah, I might have to pick up a little.
He's got a heavy accent.
It's all right. We'll be fine.
Shout out to George Haddad of Haddad Seafood in Marshfield. He was actually my high school teacher. I took 4 years of Spanish with him and 3 years of French. He was a French and Spanish teacher at Abington High School. So shout out to Mr. Haddad. Oh, je parle français. So thank you, Mr. Haddad. If anybody knows you, I always look up to you. You made a tremendous impact on my life when I was in high school. So I appreciate you. And I'll never miss an opportunity to give you a good plug. But he owns a restaurant as well, Haddad Seafood in Marshfield. But yeah, it's going to be a great press conference. I mean, Giannetti, he's never at a loss for words. And he's not afraid to kind of like say what he thinks. And when you got Dufort there, come on, man. Somebody to match wits with Giannetti. Dufort blasted into Memorial Hall blast show, threw on the Canadians jersey, was just like, yeah. Tabernac, I guess, is a swear. I kind of had to look that up. Tabernac is like, I got to look it up again. If somebody can look up Tabernac, but he kept saying Tabernac. It was like, I'm gonna take that belt, Tabernac. It's like, I fuck you or something. I don't know. We're going to look it up. I'll look it up. I'll get the
Canadian swears.
Yeah, I think so. Tabernac. Let's see what it is. Tabernac is a tabernacle.
Phonetic rendition of the term tabernacle, which refers to the ornamented box in which communion hosts and wine are kept. In Quebec, it has become a popular swear word to express anger, annoyance, or surprise.
Yeah. Tabernac has the approximate meaning of holy fuck in English.
All right.
So it's like a curse words. So there you go. Let's see what else. That traveling title thing you guys did with Ross was cool. Oh yeah, shout out Keegan pointed out we did the search for Rasquash down in Plymouth, which was another fun thing. First time we've ever done something like that. Guys were literally, there was one guy who was in his car and got out of his car. He spotted us and was like, "Hey, I know you. I saw your title fight." And he got out of his car to get a picture. It was definitely cool. And it works so well because Ross is just like, you see Ross walking down the street, you're like, there's a 6'7". Actually, Nick posted something. He's the Irish Jamaican Rasquash. And somebody has a joke. They're like, can you even call him that? Like, it's just like you don't see an Irish Jamaican Rasquash. I don't know. He definitely has a unique look, but don't be fooled by the looks. He is just as incredible as a human being and a fighter. Like, this guy's great. He's
stand-up dude, great guy, heavy hands, lethal accuracy, and a big title fight, a big title offense on the way, and a chance to avenge a loss. So we got a lot of fights we got to talk about here.
Man. So many good things. So I'll get the homework out of the way. Too cool. Can't wait for you to return. Definitely get Too Cold back here soon. Rob Pico saying he can't understand what that prick says. But either way, some housekeeping things. So like I said, Wednesday night we'll be roaming around Plymouth. I'll announce the spot soon. We'll be taking Dufort out for some mitt work and some open workout. Thursday, Proof 22 at 1 o'clock. It is open to the public, the press conference. At the press conference, we have Michael Dufort, Joe Giannetti, Ross Hilton, Joshua Marsh, Nate Williams, and Zach DiSabatino that will be attending the press conference at 1 o'clock on Thursday at Proof 22. A little later on Thursday night, we'll be taking Marsh out to do some pad work. We'll take Hilton out and do some pad work around Plymouth, spot us, and maybe get some free tickets because, as we said, show's pretty much sold out, so you might not have any options. You might got to come find us doing those open workouts to get tickets if you want to come. And then, as always, Friday, Plymouth Memorial Hall, weigh-ins start at 11, open to the public. We go live with the ceremonial weigh-ins on our social media at 1. And then Saturday's fight day. Fight day, you got the pregame party at Second Wind Brewery. They've been brewing our beer since Cage Titans 50, right up here. So
2 years now. Wow.
Over 2 years now. So they have a tap room right 2 or 3 blocks down.
Right down the street.
So Rob Pico, superfan Rob Pico, will be doing some fun giveaways down there. It's been a great event. So go pregame there. Doors open for you Hall Pass members at 4. Everybody else has to wait till 5 for regular doors. Fights start right at 6. And if you want to get there early at 5:30, the people have been loving this. We've had these kids grappling matches. We have 2 girls that are going to be doing a no-gi match. And then we got 2 boys that are going to be doing a gi match. They're going to be doing 5:30 before we start the official event. Fight start at 6. As always, after party at Tavern on the Wharf. And always a good time. They have a live band playing all the way up till midnight. The Pizza Kitchen's open till midnight, so we can get some food after the fights. So there you have it. And that's your fight week festivities. Let's roll.
Let's roll.
Kids always steal the show. Thank you, Adam. So pregame ticket giveaway. We'll give Pico some pregame tickets to give away at the pregame party at Second Wind. That's all I got, man.
That's it. We got.
I can take a breath now. Let's go. Let's get into the fight card.
We're kicking things off with 2 Muay Thai fights right out the gate, both taking place at the lightweight division. And the first fight looks like we got Connor Luby at a Team Burgess taking on Josh Robertson at a Triforce. Both guys 1-0. I don't know if this has to do with the other fight card that.
No, these ones. No, we didn't pick up any from that.
No,
card.
we didn't. Oh, all right, never mind then. Didn't know if that was the story as to the additional Muay Thai fights here, but the second Muay Thai fight of the night. Paul Huber out of Citadel taking on Mike Salazar out of Regiment. I'm sorry, Josh Robertson's out of Triforce.
You can take that card. My card's right here. I got
my bad. I thought we were splitting it.
Nope, I got my own version.
Josh Robertson, Connor Luby out of Team Burgess taking on Josh Robertson out of Triforce, and Paul Huber's taking on Mike Salazar, who's making his debut out of Regiment. So those are the 2 Muay Thai lightweight fights, and like we've said on these shows time and time again, the Muay Thai fights have been a great way to kind of warm up the night, kick things off with just fisticuffs, and the stand-up brawls that we've seen have really set the tone and got the juices flowing for great nights of mixed martial arts.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly, like I've said it so many times, and we're going to try to get through this in an hour. We'll see how well we do. But I always said that when we talked about Muay Thai, I thought Muay Thai, there wasn't a lot of Muay Thai shows around. So, somebody came to me and said, why don't you do some Muay Thai fights? And it was just never my thing. And I have no problem admitting it. Like, I was an MMA fighter. I did compete. I did train. Muay Thai just wasn't my thing. But they loved what we did for Cage Titans. So they said, could you bring it in? I brought the first Muay Thai show to Cage Titans, and I had a couple of our inner circle people that like, dude, I'm not into this. Like, why are we going to do this? This is going to be dumb. First fight of the night, they came over to me and like, dude, I was wrong. This is fucking cool. And Muay Thai has really been stealing the show a lot of times at Cage Titans. It's a great way to start us up. You got that kid grappling match, the kind of the feel-good energy. Then it's like, all right, cool, let's start punching each other in the face.
Kick it up a little bit.
Kick it up a little bit, and then you kick it up a lot of bit, and you get into the MMA stuff. So it's a great time. I know all 4 of these fighters are all from highly, reputable schools, and they're going to be coming ready to bang, and it should be a great way to open the card.
Always is, and following that, we're kicking it.
Let me quickly, a quick segue. Adam Russell, small glove Muay Thai, ever going to be a thing? Would love to see it.
Great question.
We have had it approved for the last 3 years now. We've had fights matched, and they've never come to fruition. One side got hurt, or one side said yes to small gloves, one said no. I am looking for a 145-pound small glove Muay Thai for our November card. So I was going to reach out to Keegan. I know he's 55, but I'm looking for a 45 small glove guy. So we're looking to do it. I think it would be a banger. One FC's doing it.
We've had a few fights that have been matched up that would have, should they have come to fruition, would have been legendary. But hopefully by the end of this year, we get some small glove Muay Thai. I don't even know who you got, but 145.
We'll see.
Okay, we'll see. We'll see. All right.
Can't give you all my secrets. On that note, we're announcing 4 fights this Saturday night. We got 4 big fight announcements for you for the November card. So as excited as you are for September, we got 4 big ones that we're going to be announcing for November 11th.
We'll find out about them on Saturday, though. We can't spill those beans
no
just
beans.
yet. No beans to be spilled.
No beans to be spilled here.
But they
so
are
anyways,
juicy. So we're kicking things off with 2 debuting fighters who have never fought in MMA before. Ryan Kennedy out of Lausanne MMA taking on Brian Nichols out of North Andover Jiu-Jitsu. You never know what you're going to get out of debuting fighters. Ryan Kennedy coming out of Lausanne, so you know he's well-versed, well-prepared. North Andover Jiu-Jitsu, reasonably new school. That's Kyle Bachniak's, correct?
Kyle Bachniak's school.
So Brian Nichols, if I'm deducing this correctly, is probably some relation to.
He's the older brother.
All right, he is.
He's the older brother. Blaze Nichols' older brother. I clarified that. So he might not have fought in the cage, but I'm sure these two beat the shit out of each other.
I'm sure that they found.
And we saw how good Blaze was in his debut.
They found their way to the training facility for a reason. I'm sure their parents sent them there at some point because they were sick of them fighting in the house. I know that's how it went with me, but it was an impressive debut for Blaze Nichols. I remember. I'm assuming I met Brian in the crowd because he had a couple of brothers that were losing their shit while that fight was taking place, and you could tell that they were brothers. So excited for him to make his debut. And I can't remember the last time we saw a Lausanne debut. They've kind of had a bunch of tenured fighters fighting as of late. So it's been
it's kind of funny, like
about a year.
You see kind of some like it kind of things go full circle.
Yeah.
Like, you know, backfilling a lot. There's like little circles, like kind of like Loco Lobo. Mike Gresh's school, he's always had guys, but he's kind of like kind of backfilling his stable right now. So like next show, we're going to have 3 or 4 guys. You know, it happens, but this is the first guy making a debut. We had Drew Arpin was the last guy that debuted out of Lausanne. So,
yeah.
But, you know, then you're rolling out the Marty Navis, the Joe Poirier, the Andrew Baldino, like, you know.
I mean, they've been having a ton of fighters on a ton of fight cards, but amateur debut, it's been a little bit. So this is going to be an exciting one.
And Evan, you will be there. You got to deal with the tease. Yeah, sorry, man. We're just giving you the tease. No one fight. I never keep to my word, but I am lock and key in this. I am not leaking until Saturday night. You have to be there.
Or fill
I know
him
he
up
is
with Monster beforehand, but no, he's lips are sealed.
Lips are sealed.
4 big fights though coming in November. We still got to get through September 1st, anyways. Because
and here we go.
This next fight, I'm really stoked for.
Little B,
Brandon Demora out of Regiment Training Center, taking on Ash Rao out of Broadway. Really competitive fight. Both guys have tremendous skill sets that they have shown in the cage before. It's gonna be a really dominant striking versus grappler matchup right here. Ash Rao showing he's got the submission skills.
Captain India.
Captain India.
That's what
I thought it was the White Tiger was the nickname.
I think he's Captain India, the White Tiger. I think it's all into it.
I don't think he's one that he doesn't like the nicknames. I don't think so. Ash Rao.
He's all business. I love
all
Ash.
business. All business. So much business that even when fights fall out like they have historically, he still shows up on weight, ready to scrap no matter what. So I'm excited to see him finally hit a stride of opponents that are going to be there on fight night to see him perform.
Just so you guys probably don't know is Ash's opponent fell out last show 2 weeks before, but he had the last show that him and the Broadway guys, I think it was back in July. Or March, I'm sorry. He still stayed on weight, still showed up to weigh-ins, got on the scale on weight, just in case anything fell through. And this is also the guy in his amateur debut fought 150-pound catch weight just to compete on that card. And he competed to a draw against Miguel Savesin, who went on to win the amateur title. Now he's back at his where he should be at 135. He's had almost 6 weeks to prepare for this opponent. I'm stoked to see what Ash Rao is going to bring. We saw an impressive performance when he came out against his last fight was against who was it? Was it not Bellaster?
Triforce.
Was it Souza?
Was it Souza? Yeah, I think it
No,
was
Portillo.
Yeah, it was Will Portillo.
But either way, we know Little B. This kid is just like, he doesn't say no to anybody, and he's taking the amateur ranks what they should be. He'll take anybody the
anytime.
toughest test that he can get because he wants to see his skill set progress.
Seeing him perform over the years and seeing him develop, fought for a couple other amateur titles and showing improvements in his wrestling game. And when he gets his hands going, he's as crisp as they get and dynamic of a striker. So we've got a stylistic clash right here between two hungry competitors who are trying to make a run at this 135-pound strap. Both are viable contenders already in their right. And it's our second MMA fight with this much experience already in the docks. It's an exciting matchup for sure.
Absolutely. And then just jumping right down the line, next up we got Kyle Schofield out of Camp Kong, which is Kin Moy's school or his tutelage, because I think they train at a couple different gyms, but his like head trainer who jumps gym to gym is Kin, taking on Matt Souza from Triforce, who we were just talking about. This fight, Kin has been talking to me about Kyle for a while now, and injuries and things kind of just like every time he was about to put him in, something happened that didn't didn't come to fruition. Kin said, "This is the last time I'm effing putting your name in, Kyle. It's either now or never," because like maybe it's just not meant to be. Maybe it's jinxed. We puts him in, we match him up, and a week ago his opponent fell out, and it was like, shit. Luckily for us, Matt Souza had his name in at 25 at flyweight, and we couldn't come up with anything. He's jumping up to 10 pounds to meet him at 135. Fight is saved. Maybe a career save for Kyle, because Kin said it was his last chance. If it was jinx, he was never putting his name in again. Well, here we go. Kyle Schofield taking on Matt Souza. And I'm stoked about Matt because his willingness, he had some great skill in his debut.
He fought in the matinee of the day double ladder. Yep.
And this kid was just like, I don't care what weight. I walk at 130. Screw it. I'll fight him at 135 because I want to be on this card. He has a bunch of other Triforce teammates fighting on it, and he want to be a part of this event. So there you have it. Matt Souza.
Yeah, Triforce is bringing a squad here, and he looked impressive in his debut, getting that victory. And Schofield, third time's the charm to throw in and get a debut. And there they are. Here they'll meet Saturday night. We'll see how it goes.
Let's go.
Stoked.
All right. So next up, you want to take this one?
This one's as exciting as it gets on the card. If you don't know now, you know for me, because Blaze Nichols showed that he's a devastating finisher, fights mean, hungry young kid, and Carter Whitty been dying to make his Cage Titans debut, and he did against Rich Clark in the Muay Thai realm last fight card and showed his dog that he has, and his hands looked incredible, piecing together elbows and kicks flawlessly. It was a tremendous performance, showing he belongs here. Can't wait to see him throw on the 7-ounce gloves and show what he's got in the wrestling and grappling pedigrees as well. So this is a matchup between two guys that are just dogs. This is a dog fight to the core right here between Blaze Nichols and Carter Whitty. You got to respect how both of these young men bring it every single step of the way. Super excited for this, and they're coming into training camps. You know that Blaze Nichols is getting his work in with his brother Brian Nichols, and Brandon Mora is getting the work in with Carter Whitty down at Regiment.
And they have Salazar fight.
And Salazar as well. So there's
I'll tell you this. If
preparing with each other, they're going to war as squads. It's going to be fun.
Do yourself a favor and go back on our Instagram and watch the video we posted of Blaze Nichols the other day. This kid is cool, calm, and collected. Just turned 18. He's making his debut. He's at the Cage Titans stage of a day-night doubleheader, and his opponent gets in his face and looks him nose to nose. Smells like bitch in here, and just like right in his face. And Blaze just cool as can be. And his opponent just kept saying it, and then Blaze just went out, choked him out, and you saw all that emotion. I just thought for such a young kid to stay so composed, that tells me something about this kid, makes me excited about this fight. And I will tell you this, I have a high respect for the regiment guys, Aaron Hughes, Mitch Raposo, Oh, wink, wink. They might actually. There you go, Evan. They might be involved in the fight announcements. There you go. That's all I'm giving you. But anyways, I have high regard for those guys, and they tell me Carter Whitty's the real deal. Blaze has shown he's the real deal. This fight, as Andy said, circle it up.
Circle it up. These guys are dogs. This is, if you don't know now, you know fight.
There you go.
And there's a bunch of them.
This isn't a don't know, now you know fight, because you already know this fight's going to be bananas. Danny Jefferson out of Broadway, the Broadway Bullies taking on Travis Soulard. 2 undefeated fighters going at it. Someone always got to go. Travis Soulard showed us in his debut that in his submission victory, that he's got the ground skills. What you might not know about him is he brings in a black belt and I believe Taekwondo.
He showed some speed. His striking as well in his debut fight, but it was just a tremendous performance for a debut, overcoming little bits of adversity, coming away with the finish win. They know him as sweeps, and Danny Jefferson in 2 performances, undefeated, pretty much untouched. Pitched a shutout against Phil Lucino in that unanimous decision victory, and
just no easy task.
No easy task whatsoever. And his first fight against Christos was
he made a
banger of a war. It was the frenetic pace that he set throughout. So circle this one as well. Circle the whole undercard.
Circle the whole fucking card right now.
It's just
put it in.
You want to be in house for these fights. But like we were saying, this new crop of amateurs, as you're going down these names that have already presented themselves at Plymouth Memorial Hall in front of everybody before. You're going to remember the faces. You're going to see them taking on other people who had similar moments already, and the best are going to emerge out of the best. There's going to be guys that are going to be taking losses here, but you're going to see this new crop of professional fighters here that are better early on in their career because they're fighting each other now at the amateur ranks, and you see it in some of these matchups right here.
Yeah, it's crazy. No, Phil just texted me because can we move the date to the 18th? November 11th is the date of the show. It's
Why?
Veteran Days. I don't know. I just texted me. I just got the text in the middle of the show. But anyways, as we talk about Danny Jefferson, Travis Soulard, like the fight before that, like Carter Whitty, who's making his debut. He's going to be the next Danny Jefferson, Tim Melver, and Jaden Curley that we're going to get. And it kind of goes back to what I was talking about at the beginning. Backfilling a lot. Who's the next guy? Like you got to always kind of keep filling it up. So moving on from that, we just mentioned his name, Bambino himself. His mom is amazing and made us eggplant. Unfortunately for me, Andy ate both containers that she brought for us. One for me, one for you. He ate it. But shout out to Mrs. Bambino, Phil Lucino's mom.
Listen, you definitely didn't want it. You walked right on by like it wasn't even existing. I couldn't let it go cold. I needed to eat the eggplant parm. Come on, dude.
Oh, man.
You keep giving me shit over that.
I just love it. I love it.
You were gonna eat
Every time we
eggplant,
talk about Bambino, I just think about the time his mom
could
brought
have
us
had
both
eggplant parm.
eggplants. And you ate all the eggplants.
I swear you denied it. You were like, no, I'm good. And then I just ate it. I didn't want it to go bad. I didn't even have to leave. It was awesome.
If they were Mrs. Barrett's or Peter Barrett's mom, I don't think she's Mrs. Barrett, but Peter Barrett's mom's cookies or Pat Gilbride's girlfriend, wife now, Nikki's
She makes a
cheesecake,
mean cupcake.
I'd be a little bit more mad.
Of course you would.
Eggplant, I am Italian, but fuck it, this ain't a cooking show. We're gonna go on. Phil Lucino.
Yeah,
I know I look like I eat
cookies. You would have needed some of them for you to stabilize your blood sugar. So yeah, you would have been mad. But
anyways, Bambino is taking on Xavier Cardona. Great fight, man. I love this.
And 2 just classy competitors who are just big-hearted, amazing people who you wouldn't know it when they step into the cage because they just bring war. That's what they do. This fight was made, and I just started grinning ear to ear because I know that they're both going to bring that gangster mentality to the cage. They're not going to shy away for a second until somebody falls, and neither guy likes to fall. So buckle up. It's going to be a wild ride when Bambino and X meet. It's just
yeah. I mean, so Bambino. I talked about Brandon Demora, and they actually have identical records. Bambino is one of those guys that he doesn't say no to anybody, and he's taking the amateur career. Not protecting records, not trying to get a shiny belt or anything like that in the amateur ranks. He's testing himself every time he's fought Kasky, Walsh. So many tough fights he's taken, and that tells me a lot about him and his character and what he wants to do in the progression of his skill set. He's not looking for easy pad my record fights as an amateur. He's taking the hardest ones, so he knows what he has. He's in this for the long haul, and he wants to make a run at it. So I applaud him for that. On the other side, Xavier Cardona. Xavier is 38, 39. You know why he's fighting? He's not looking for some long career. He just loves the effing fight. This guy just loves the fight. He likes to throw fists, and he wants to knock you out, or he wants to like get cracked in the face and maybe get knocked out himself. I don't know. I don't know if he's been knocked out yet.
Aaron Hughes.
Aaron Hughes, the only time he's been knocked out.
Yep,
but either way, he loves to stand there and just trade, throw bombs. He was going to go pro because I think he got motivated by like Greg Jones, the last event, who went pro at 49 years old. 50. And he was like, you know what? Maybe I just go pro and this will be my last fight. But I want somebody who's going to stand and trade and stand and bang. And when him and me and his coach were talking, I was like, you know what? I got this Bambino guy that would be a fun fight for him. And he goes, you know what? Fuck going pro. He wants to stand and trade and bang more than anything. If it's pro or amateur, he doesn't care. Bambino excites us. We want that fight.
I love it.
There we go.
That's just a match made in heaven. Can't wait for that to take place. That's just a perfect appetizer to the main card that we have.
Well, it's a good appetizer too. If this would be the co-main event of the undercard, a great appetizer to the main event of the undercard.
The feature undercard.
Undercard fight. Two undefeated.
Somebody's has to go. Got a couple fights like this as well, and that's amazing. We got a bunch of matchups here where we got undefeated fighters taking on experienced fighters, guys that are like pretty much 500 fighting each other, but they're takers of all comers that are top notch. Never say no to an opponent. Got undefeated prospects taking on each other. It's serious. Like this amateur card right here is a fight card in and of itself.
I was saying this amateur card. If we just threw this out there, I'd be like, I'd pay to go see that.
That could be a
give them the names of the featured.
They already know who it is. Timmy Mayday Melvin at a Broadway 2-0, 2 finishes, an absolute madman in there, taking on Jaden Curley, making his long-awaited return. He had one of the loudest performances that we've ever seen at Memorial Hall, overcoming adversity, getting dropped by Rafael Lopez, I believe his name was off the top of
Bishop's box.
Yeah, and what a fight that was, because that was Rafael Lopez brought it, cracked him. He looked like he brought a small village of people with him, did Jaden Curley, to his last fight. So you heard the place erupt when he started getting the momentum back in his favor, putting on a fight of the year worthy kind of fight. And it's been a minute since he's been back in there, and
it hasn't been easy getting
in
matchups.
that. And in that time, Timmy Mayday Melvin has made his crash landing, and he's in the scene. Everyone knows who he is now. He has put forth some barbaric type performances, and this has some serious title implications. Where the winner of this is probably getting a title shot of some sort.
And just so you know, I love kind of like peeling back the curtain. That's why I love table time.
Yeah.
Like we can kind of peel back the curtain a little bit and bring to you information that's not readily available.
More than you
Timmy
can see
Melvin, sometimes I shouldn't say everything, but anyways, Timmy Melvin was in the talk for the title fight to take on Brody McDougal, but he wasn't available to fight at our last event. Lucky for us, we ended up getting a fight of the ever and Ozzie Martin stepping in for that title fight and taking on Brody. But Melvin was right there. He was one of the first guys we went to. So he's right there. That with Brody going pro, maybe in November. So
I don't want to tell you anything. I don't want to let any fight slip or anything. I'm not going to stay over.
I only tell you half.
Let 3 of them go.
No, I only said half of the thing. You don't know who they're fighting. But anyways, with Brody going pro, that belt's going to be up for grabs. And I know, I can tell you this as well. Ozzie already said, like his team already reached out. It's like, dude, after that performance, if Brody's pro, how can we get a shot at the vacant title? Like, did we earn it?
Yeah.
And I'm like, you lost in the title fight. And dude, yeah, fuck yeah. There was a banger of a fight. So anyways, Timmy's been in talks about getting a title fight. Jaden Curley also threw his name in the hat for the title fight. So this fight, man, it could be crazy.
Could be the pump.
Yeah, there you go. That's going to be the set spike for November. If that welterweight title is going to be up for grabs in November, where Ozzie Martin, there's another wink. Ozzie Martin will be coming back in November as well.
Man, I love Fight Week.
There we go.
That's it for the amateur action. How we doing? We're gonna make
We're
it.
doing all right.
Wow,
35 minutes.
Oh, look at that. Look at that. Doing all right because we're stepping right into the professional ranks right here. We're gonna have a brief intermission where we're going to announce all 4 of the fights that he let half of them slip in the past 35 minutes. You're gonna have to hit rewind to catch those because we made a promise. We're not gonna tell anybody that. Nobody's fighting in November yet. We don't have 4 or 5 already made fights that may not.
Shout out to Ash who just joined the podcast. We were talking about your fight earlier. We need to get clarification, Ash. Maybe you can help us out. We've heard that White Tiger is the nickname, and we've heard that Captain India.
He doesn't.
Do you like either of those nicknames?
I don't think he likes the nicknames.
No, he doesn't.
I don't think he does. But
what did you announce him as?
The White Tiger, because John Clark told me to. So it is what it is.
Oh, that's actually a perfect opportunity, just so all the fighters know. Most of the time, the coaches give us the nicknames, and we have to go with you most of the time what they give us.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, there's no doubt about that. Like, yeah, not most of the time. I think that the fighters usually do it. But if a coach tells me to throw the nickname out there, the fighter, I'm sorry, you have no say. It's just
Valdina said I'm a leaky faucet. I'm fucking sure it's fucking leaky. I am definitely a leaky faucet. I leak everything. I leak everything.
Oh, that's the smell.
Not that kind of leaky
like,
faucet.
what's that smell?
No. Anyways, as you can tell, we're pretty excited about Fight Week.
It's gonna be good. It's gonna be good. You're not even sweating that monster out yet.
No,
just
I'm
wait
good,
till
man.
Thursday and then
But
it'll be out.
Good opportunity.
What were we talking about?
We're going to the main card right now.
All right.
And the last few fights, BetMGM has picked up the odds on our pro fights. Here's a quick heads up. Usually the odds are up for a short period of time. So be on the lookout. I have on solid authority that they will be up on BetMGM once again. So you could only bet on the pro fights. And as always, fighters, corners, teammates, don't be betting on yourselves. Don't be betting on your
Why can't
people.
you bet on yourself?
You can't do that. It's not.
You can't bet against yourself.
Listen, I'm not going to get into your personal opinion on if you should or shouldn't. You cannot. So per the rules, you're not
I
allowed.
think I'm going to win.
But you cannot bet on yourself, on your own fight, or anybody that you corner or coach. But either way, be on the lookout. BetMGM. We'll have the odds. And so over the next few days, usually they release them the day of the fight, but they might release them a little early this time. So just if you haven't already, download that BetMGM app. And I know this has been a hot thing with our fans, and they've been really enjoying it. So it's kind of like be on the lookout. I can't tell you when, but get that app, check it, and you hopefully will see the odds for this upcoming Saturday night for the main card, pro fights only. So without further ado, stage is set.
Heavyweight starting off the show, a rematch from a fight that took place at the amateur ranks a few years back. Both guys are 1-1. Somebody's climbing up the ranks here. Max Lombardo out of Cage JSA taking on Hassan Graham out of Chapman's House of Pain. And this was a banger of a heavyweight fight when it took place a few years back. There's not too much footage out there on it, but Max Lombardo put on a clinic for the better part of 3 rounds until Hassan Graham was able to land the bomb that finished the show and scored him the 3rd round TKO, putting him on the map in his debut. He went on to win the amateur title, obviously, and now here he is as a professional heavyweight, and they're getting the rematch in here. And I think Max Lombardo definitely wants that fight back for it being, I think it was his first amateur loss, if I'm not mistaken. But
I always give you, I always try to give you a little sneak peek or little hints. Usually when you have guys who fought each other already or guys who've trained together, when you mention a fight, one will say absolutely, and one usually is like, maybe not. In this fight, I got, yes, I'll take it, but I doubt he will take it. And then obviously the fight's happening. So there's a lot of confidence on both sides of this, which makes this even more interesting.
Mm-hmm.
So I think that they've grown a lot since their first amateur fights, though it was only two years ago, was it? 3 years ago?
3 years ago, yeah.
So it hasn't been a long time, but they've grown a lot. Max has taken a lot of control over at Cage JSA and helping running that in their fighter program, Hassan's gone on to go win the title. He's gone on to PFL. So I think this is going to be great to see how far they've progressed in their respective careers and what's going to be different from the first time, which from what I've hear, again, this promotion didn't really put out videos, but from what I hear from people that were there, that Max was doing really well and winning the fight, arguably up until the point that Hassan does what Hassan does and knocks mother effers out. So will we see a replay of that? How's it going to go? There you go.
It's a fun one. Excuse me.
So he said, I went to take a piss and did Mike leak anything? No, I did not leak anything. Did not leak.
My goodness.
Next up, we got Chris Catarino out of Catarino Martial Arts taking on Joe Poirier. This is going to be at bantamweight. Joe Poirier puts his undefeated record on the line and probably his toughest test to date. Catarino is 4-4. He is a tremendously difficult fighter to compete against. He's competed against Jay Perrin. You got his record up there.
Competed against Randy Costa at the amateur ranks. Has a win over Andy Aiello. Lost to Lionel Young, and just coming off a loss to Felipe Gunther, who was a sensational amateur.
Like 4-5-0 up in the AF?
Yeah, I believe so.
But either way, Catarino is as tough as they come.
Tough as they come. Been around for a long time. Fought some
Huge test
top name
support.
guys, and come away with some big wins as well. So this is a seasoned veteran that Poirier hasn't met quite yet at the professional ranks. So we're going to see him enter in a new realm at a professional level, and this would be a huge goose egg for Chris Catarino to crack as well, to bump him up the ranks as well, because he's still a young prospect in his own right. He's had his ups and downs in his career, but he's still young in his MMA career. I know he's been putting the work in and trying to get the momentum.
A little training session with him.
I've never trained with him, but I've been at the gym with him. But
and let's
I'm
not
excited
forget,
for him to make his Cage Titans debut. He's never fought for you before, right? No,
and very much like you mentioned, he fought Jay Perrin. Let's not forget that Jay Perrin came to Cage Titans as a 3-3 fighter. Then went on his historic run with Cage Titans.
Exactly.
On to getting signed to the UFC. So, I'm sure Chris Catarino, he can throw some wins together here, and it starts on this Saturday against Joe Poirier, an undefeated prospect. Things are going to be looking up for him. But as for Joe Poirier, he is the world's biggest flyweight, as he has dubbed himself. But he's jumping up 10 pounds, so he's going to give up a little bit of weight in this one. But he looked pretty thick at the open workouts yesterday, and I think he has really precise striking. He's looked really good with his hands. This should be a great fight, and I love it from both sides because it's it's a great test for both of them, and we're going to see a lot of fun things that could possibly springboard off of these guys, this guy's fights. All right, let's go. Next up, and that's weird. Cam Brzezinski just actually started watching. Cam Brzezinski out of Cage JSA puts his undefeated record on the line. Another undefeated guy taking on Sam Watford. Sam Watford, everybody wrote him off in the last time he fought for Cage Titans. He was going against 10-6 Pat Casey, and somebody forgot to give Watford the memo that he was coming in to get smoked. And he showed up, and he put on a great performance and pulled out the victory. And here he is taking on Cam Brzezinski.
It was truly a work of art, that performance right there. The way he was able to find success with his strikes from anywhere that the fight went, whether he was taken down at distance, inside the clinch. It was a beautiful performance and display of mixed martial arts. So Sam Watford exploded onto the scene with that last performance, and he's got the chance to take on another hot prospect, handing Pat Casey, who was streaking at that time, a loss at that point, and cracking the goose egg of Cam Brzezinski in back-to-back performance really shoots him up the ranks at 170 pounds. And we've got some interesting matchups that are taking place at that weight class right there, which could set him up for some big moves in the future. Same thing with Cam Brzezinski. If you could take that momentum that Sam Watford has, climb to 3-0 in that cage with that many eyes on you, it's a huge move in his career as well. And from what you tell me, this kid is the next big thing coming by way of Cage JSA.
Yeah, so Cam was undefeated as an amateur, undefeated as a pro, and everybody that I've ever come in contact, he's from Connecticut, he's not fought for Cage Titans, and he's fought out Premier and promotions out on that side of the state. They tell me this kid's the real deal. And they've been telling me this for a few years now, and it just never passed him across where you've got him to the cage. Well, it's finally now is the time. And you know, I'm stoked to see him with my own eyes, you know, because I've seen some film on him, and I've heard some people that I respect in the community that have trained with him and seen him fight. They tell me this kid is has it. And you know, we're gonna see, and we're gonna find out. And the Bright Lights in Memorial Hall, we're gonna find out this Saturday, because he has a tough test. It wasn't like, and that's the thing that I respect about these guys. He hasn't fought in a little while, and when you kind of have a can't miss prospect, you know, that you might see some more padding of the record. They were like, they didn't say no to anybody. They were, you know, they're like, hey, we'll take Sam Watford, like, which is an extremely fucking tough fight. Like, so that tells me the confidence that in this kid's skill that they have. And we know what Sam Watford brings to the table. This fight, not many Cage Titans fans might know enough about either one of these guys, but I promise you, just like when Watford came in last time against with Casey and put on that performance, you're going to be like, oh shit, okay, this kid's the real deal. And whoever comes out victorious, I think both guys are extremely talented. And you know, this is the dark horse fight that you might be like, oh, I don't really know these guys. Whatever. Maybe I'll go to get a beer during that fight. Don't get a beer during this fight.
Yeah, for sure. Next one.
Smash Cam.
Two guys.
Or Sam Smash Cam. Sam Smash Cam. Is that like Dr. Seuss, Rob Pico? All right, here we go. We're moving on good time.
Yeah.
13 minutes, Andy.
We got two guys looking for their first professional win. Oscar Vera coming to us from Box Combat Factory, taking on Miguel Mother Evans Savison out of Lakeville MMA. Former amateur lightweight champion, fell short in his last title defense, but it was a war of attrition that you
Fight of the ever.
And once you go through a fight like that, you know you're ready for the professional ranks right there. He's got nothing left to prove. Great time for him to move into the professional ranks right here. And he draws Oscar Vera for his pro debut.
Yeah, man, I'm pumped for this fight. You know, Oscar has fought everywhere. You know, he made his debut in Bellator. His first two fights were Bellator. He's been in the boxing ring. He's fought at CES. He's fought at a bunch of promotions. And, you know, he's not scared by bright lights, and he's not scared by a venue that's probably booing the shit out of him. And he's walking in there. He doesn't get scared. He doesn't get shook. The story on Oscar Vera is that, like, usually if you take him down, you get the wins. He's been training a lot at a jiu-jitsu school. I forget the name of it. I'm sorry. I'd have to look through my notes, but he's teamed up with a jiu-jitsu gym. He's trying to kind of tie up those loose ends with the jiu-jitsu portion to go with his stand-up skills. Some reason I don't think either one is going to need any ground skills in this fight, because Mother effing Savessin loves the sling leather. We've seen it in his fight with Pafal. We saw it in his fight with Sergey Parantsuko. Like, he's not looking to take you down. He's looking to swing for the fences. He looked great at the open workouts yesterday on the mitts with his coach, Mike Avila. This fight should be a fun one, and I think is a great spot on the card.
For sure.
All right. Next up, I saw Sage watching. I don't know if he's still watching, but Sage Philippe taking on Bobby Flynn. Yes, that Bobby Flynn from years ago is making his return. He tells me it's one more run, one more fight. I don't know. We'll see on fight night, but Bobby's been around forever.
Yeah.
Famously, he beat Peter Barrett in 30-second, like, flying armbar for the amateur title back in 2012. This kid's a stud. You know, he's equally as dangerous on the feet. He's or on the ground. He's trained with Sage before, and he has a tremendous respect for Sage. And Sage actually flew out to Extreme Couture. He's been doing this fight camp out in Vegas at Extreme Couture. I think that he got a lot of motivation when he went to decision with then 6-1 Marty Navis, and then he went on to take the win against Aaron Trussell, Earthquake. I think he got a little career injection, like, yeah, man, I'm going to make a run at it. I do have the skill, and now he's out at it.
He always had that as well, seeing in all of his performances ahead of time. He was on the wrong end of a couple of decisions, but they were always hard fought, and he's never been out of a fight. So the streak that he's finding himself right here, and the impressive win that he got over Aaron Trussell, getting some momentum his way, and for him to be taking on the returning Bobby Flynn, who's been out of action for, I want to say, 5 years, 6 years at this point, maybe even longer. Excuse me. But to see him taking on to see Bobby Flynn taking on Sage Philippe, who's got so much activity in the past couple of years, even though he's been on that layoff, just as a testament to the skills and the confidence he has in his skill set to be returning after such a long layoff over somebody with this kind of pedigree. Yeah. And Sage Philippe, who is getting some momentum in his corner, get another win. Big things on the horizon, like we said, at
170. A lot of fun stuff going on 170. So they have it. Sage Philippe taking on Bobby Flynn.
All right. Down to the last
three fights. We got 9 minutes.
9 minutes, 3 minutes of fight. Let's go. Nate Williams, 14-12 out of American Top Team Lima, taking on Zach DiSabatino out of South Shore Sport Fighting, who was streaking on a hot win streak not too long ago. Came up short against Jacob Bone, and now looking to bounce back into the win column. And he pulls the decorated wrestler with a great boxing background who is already accumulated some big wins over his professional career and has a win over Don Shanis at this very building as well. Undefeated at Cage Titans, you might say, is Nate Williams. So a very tough turnaround fight for Zach DiSabatino after breaking that win streak, but just a testament to how much of a gangster he really is. And Nate Williams flying up to take this fight and take on another top-level contender at this weight class. Got to respect both guys, and it's going to be a banger of a fight. Can't wait to see nasty Nate Williams back in the cage as well.
Exactly. You know, one thing that fans will tend to forget, you know, we talk about Chris Catarino, who's 4-4. We talk about Nate Williams, who's 14-12. Sage Philippe, who's 500. These guys that are 500, it's not due to skill level. It's the fact that they're going to promotions and fighting the biggest, baddest motherfuckers they have. They're taking the hardest out every time. They're taking on the guys that everybody says no to. They're the ones who show up, taking Don Shanis on a week's notice. You know, they're going to everybody's hometown and fighting them. So sometimes they win, sometimes they lose. Quite often, like a guy like Jacob Bond, these guys might be better than those ones that have the pretty zeros next to their name. It's just that that's the road that they took. So I got a ton of respect for these guys. Nate Williams is as nasty, just like his nickname, as they come. And Zach is a Cage Titans through and through. All his amateur career, all his pro career, he showed he's a dog. He's a workhorse. He takes on all comers. This is a huge test for him, and it's a huge test for Nate. I love this fight because Zach sits at 11-3. He needs to get a big win over a guy like Nate, a tremendous veteran, to kind of like give him a nudge towards that a little bit more closer to maybe a Contender Series, UFC, maybe a title fight.
Still right on the cusp.
Right on that cusp. And a guy like Nate, he wanted the title shot when he beat Shanis. Timing never kind of worked out so we could get him back for a title fight. He was a firefighter in his home state, things of that nature. He's already said, you know what? It's been so long. It's been 2 years since I fought at Cage Titans and beat Shanis and kind of earned that title shot. I don't want to come back into a title shot. I want to come back, fight somebody, beat somebody, take the microphone, and then call, because I want to remind everybody what I did 2 years ago. I love that motivation that he has. I couldn't have been happier. When we put this fight together, I called Andy. I was like, dude, I couldn't say no to this fight. I was like, this could main event a card, but It's the third fight on the card from the top. This fight's crazy. Tremendous respect for both guys. And it's going to be fun because we have the lightweight title that's going on later that night. We'll see what happens.
Big implications at that division just as well.
So
many bangers here. So down to the co-main event of the evening. No stranger here. Everybody knows how big this fight is in more ways than one. The heavyweight championship on the line. Ras Hilton defending against Joshua Marsh. A fight that's already happened and already taken place. Joshua Marsh looking to make history repeat itself, only this time
for the belt.
Add to it. Bring the belt home. He was clamoring for this fight the second that Ras Hilton won it. MMA math played out. He has a win over Ras. Ras beat Battles. Battles beat Marsh.
Little round robin tournament here.
Robin going on at heavyweight, and I couldn't be more of a fan of it because Ras Hilton is determined to stay atop the division.
Yes.
Hearing how motivated he is, witnessing how motivated he is after that last fight, And knowing that he has a chance to avenge a loss and defend the belt, I'm excited to see what he brings. But Marsh already knows the game plan, knows he can do it, has that belief system. You can't script a better title fight than this.
Listen, I said it to Andy before, and he knows this. Before I left the venue the night that Ross Hilton won the title, I already had a message in my inbox from Marsh's coach saying, we just saw Ross won. I don't know if you know this, but we already beat his ass once. We want to come up there and take that title back to Florida. They've been motivated for this fight. They called for this fight. And Ross was like, I kind of want some new blood, but kind of makes it a little bit more personal, the fact that my first professional loss was to this guy. And if he wants it, come get it. And I think that we're going to see a lot, because that was Ross's first professional loss, but that was, 15 fights ago. Ross is now a 18 pro fight veteran. Marsh is an 11 fight. So like since then, Marsh hasn't been as active as Ross has. So where has Ross progressed and where has Marsh progressed?
We'll see.
And we're going to find out in the Kona main event this Saturday night for the heavyweight title.
Love the sport.
And Andy gives me shit all the time, and there's not very often. Usually the unwritten rule is the heavier weight class goes on last. But sometimes special circumstances happen, and I think this is the special circumstance. The lightweight title is on the line. Michael Dufort challenging the champ, Joe Giannetti. This fight is crazy. This fight not only is for the Cage Titans title, I'm telling you right now, this is probably for the title of the best unsigned UFC lightweight in the world, country, whatever you want to call it. And not only is that on the line, the Cage Titans belt on the line, I can tell you, whoever wins this fight is definitely going to probably get a nice contract in the mail from the UFC, because that's the quality of this fight. You're getting a UFC quality fight at Cage Titans in the main event. Take it, Andy.
High finish percentages from both guys. Both of them almost impossible to finish in their own right. You can't make it better. They're both on hot win streaks with big-time finishes against high-caliber opponents at 155 pounds. You can't script it better than that. Michael Dufort showing that he is not deterred in the least bit by the ravenous crowd of New England, showing up in the Habs jersey, just completely embracing the role of the heel. Expect him to bring that energy throughout when he lands here Wednesday and spends a week in Plymouth with the goal in mind to take that gold belt home back to Quebec. And Joe Giannetti at the open workout, determined to keep it here. Both guys with superb records, 11-4 and 14-4 respectively. A big win for either guy. Shoots him up high on the list of prospects ready for a Contender Series fight or a UFC contract.
You know what I love? Both guys have done everything that there is to do on the local level. And it's like, what else do they got to do to get signed to the UFC? And instead of sitting back and waiting for the call, or just kind of sitting back and maybe cherry picking a win, they said, you know what? I'm so confident in myself. Get me the baddest fucking lightweight you can find and put him in front of me. Both sides of the equation said that, and they have it. Because I'm telling you right now, lesser fighters would sit on the sidelines and say, I'll wait for an easier fight. Neither one of these guys did. They want to test themselves. They want to prove that they're their best. And that you got to love. So I don't care if you came for the first fight, the second, the ninth, and whatever. Make sure you stick around all the way to the main event, because this fight we will look back at as one of the best probably ever. I never said that about a fight going into it. And a fun fact, we actually talked about it yesterday. Looking back in time, we've had 4 fights between 2 UFC fighters in the Cage Titans cage. Peter Barrett took on TJ Brown, and then they fought at Cage Titans and they went on to the UFC.
Chris versus Manny.
Chris Martino versus Manny Bermudez.
Chris versus Don.
Chris Martino versus Don Shanis. Then went on Manny Bermudez versus Tony Gravely.
All right. Oh, shit. I was trying to
those
figure who it was.
times, we had no clue like that they were who they were. We know who these guys are, who we say they are. They are that good. And we can tell you that ahead of time. This isn't a looking back in time. Wow, we didn't realize how good of a fight that was. Looking back a couple of years from now, this fight is insane. This fight is crazy. This fight deserves the world recognition that it's getting from some of the bigger websites. This fight is crazy. I cannot wait to see this fight. This main event is bananas. I got nothing more to say about it. And besides, Dufort wants all that pressure. He is not shying away. He wants all they say, as the kids say, I want all the smoke. And JoJo wants all the smoke. Both these guys are cut from the same cloth, and they're going to deliver for you guys. That's 17 fights on this card. 8 pro fights, 9 amateurs. We're not going all over them again. Go to CageTitansFC.com right now if you want to look over the entire card. It's in order, top to bottom. Follow any of our social media at Cage Titans across the board on X. I want to say Twitter, but it's X now. Snapchat, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube, you name it, we're there. We're going to be bringing you all the action throughout the week on social media. Our social media game is second to none. We're going to be blasting you guys in the face about all these fights. And if you haven't got tickets yet, I'm telling you, it's not promoter talk. It's screwed. You better find a fighter who has some tickets left because this show pretty much sold out. So, man, we love all the support. Cannot wait to see you guys this week. Remember, Wednesday night, we're going to be around Plymouth with Dufort doing a little bit of open workout. Thursday at Proof 22 at 1 o'clock, open to the public, the press conference with Dufort, Giannetti, Ross Hilton, Joshua Marsh, Zach DiSabatino, and Nate Williams at the press conference, Proof 22 at 1 o'clock on Thursday. Friday, Plymouth Memorial Hall, 11 o'clock, the fighter weigh-ins at Plymouth Memorial Hall, and then we go ceremonial at 1 o'clock, again, open to the public. Saturday afternoon, the pregame party with superfan Rob Pico doing some fun giveaways over at Second Wind Brewery, our longtime brewery partner. Go there for the pregame. 4 o'clock. I'm telling you right now, the show's sold out. So go get your hall pass. This is something great we rolled out this year. For $10, you get a hall pass. It gets you in the building an hour before the general public. It's limited to only 100 people. If you don't want to stand in that line, it's that we're famous for. We always film it. If you don't want to stand in that line, get your hall pass. I believe there's 68 left. So you still got time to go get a hall pass so you can get in at 4. If not, general public, 5 o'clock. First fight, 6 o'clock. After party, Tavern on the Wharf. There's your fight week rundown. Andy, what else you got on the closing remarks?
I got nothing, man. That's pretty much sums it up. We got festivities. That starts with this episode right here from me. It is officially fight week. That's pretty much all that's going to be occupying the mind from this point on until the fights are done, until the hangover is recovered on Sunday morning at brunch.
And the only thing I didn't say, thank you, Rob Pico, though he made it up. If you cannot make it to Plymouth Memorial Hall this upcoming Saturday night, don't worry. Our broadcast partner, Spectation Sports, has you covered. You can go to spectationsports.com, sign up for your subscription. Make sure you use your favorite fighter's last name in all capitals at checkout as the promotion code, and a piece of that purchase will go back to that fighter. We love giving back to the fighters and doing whatever we can, and that's just another avenue, a revenue stream for some of these guys to earn money for, their training camps, their medicals, and all that great stuff. So go over to spectationsports.com to sign up for Cage Titans 61. They are the only place to stream Cage Titans 61. They stream it exclusively. All those other crap links, they're just trying to steal your credit card information. Spectationsports.com has you covered. They have fun ticket giveaways. Last time, the winner got 2 free tickets to UFC Boston. So they do a pick'em contest throughout the night where you can go on and see who you're going to win, and whoever gets the highest percentage of like who wins in what round and by what method. Last time it was UFC tickets. Before that, it was Red Sox tickets. They suck now. Maybe we'll get some Bruins tickets or Celtics or whoever. They always have good contests. BetMGM, download the app right now because I'm on good authority that they're going to have the odds once again. So they have it. I really am done, Andy.
That's it.
1 hour and 5 minutes. We did all right.
Not bad at all. We got to get going because we got to catch up on some rest. You got some shit to do because we got a busy ass weekend ahead of us.
Got more
I'm
stuff.
not planning on sleeping Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So let's get the hell out of here.
And cheap plug for Andy. Andy's doing a comedy night Saturday, October 14th. here at Coop's Bar and Grill.
Get tickets at the fights.
He's going to have tickets at the fight, so hit him up, support him. He supports all you guys with his beautiful voice by announcing and getting you ready for fight night. So come support him and his other secondary hobby of comedy, October 14th.
Oh, thanks, boss. All right. And it's at his restaurant, so you're supporting both of us. It works.
There we go. Support us all. And we will see you soon, Rob Pico, and we'll see you soon, Big Mikey. And shout out to Nick Heiler. Actually, give him a quick shout out. Somebody said earlier that they loved the opening video. I'm about to play it now. Nick
closing video
birthday,
too.
Yep, it's closing video. Nick Heiler's birthday was yesterday.
Oh, happy birthday.
Happy
I didn't
birthday,
know that. He
Nick.
was over here earlier.
Yeah, and Nick is always the man capturing these moments for you guys and making you look your best. And I just want to give him a moment in front of the camera and say thank you, Nick, for everything you do for Cage Titans. You've been a tremendous addition to the family. And thank you so much. And I hope you had a great birthday yesterday. So peace out.
Massachusetts!
City Tabarnak. You're the same for now, but I'm coming for you.
I don't know what the hell you said, but you ain't taking my belt. And the Bruins are the best team around, so get that shit out of here.
I said, come fucking get me. Somebody stepped up and said, yes, I want that smoke, and his name is Joshua Marsh. We'll be putting this belt on the line, and as soon as I'm done with him, I'm going to take whoever's next.